What is going on, collective? Welcome to my channel. It's your boy Adam Raw. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Yeah, so today's download was basically it goes back to some of the older readings that I was doing. The download that I pretty much got today had to do with the Bible, right? Basically, all the stories in the Bible are replaying out in people's lives at this time, right? So, let's say, like, if you are being spiritually attacked, there are different spiritual attacks, but the Bible is still resonating till today, right? And a lot of people, they might, I know it's a lot of atheists, people who don't believe in the Bible and all that nature or whatever. But this is something that I wanted to point out to you, okay? Let's take, for instance, the what is that? Joseph. I don't know if you guys know the Bible or not about Joseph. But when I told you guys that the spirit of Joseph was going to be out here, the spirit of Daniel was going to be out here, the spirit of Moses was going to be out here, the spirit of Elijah was going to be out here. Essentially, with their spirits out here, it's like the energy is still resonating to this day, okay? And basically, I'm gonna start with Joseph. So what happened with Joseph was that his mother was unable to conceive. We'll start right there. His mother was unable to conceive, and that's one trait that most prophets of God have, is either they were conceived. It's like most prophets of God are conceived in wild ways, okay? Or in almost impossible ways, right? Like Mary and her cousin both conceived, I believe, around the same time, John the Baptist and Jesus Christ, right? They both ended up with children. Her Mary was a virgin, right? And her cousin was considered to be barren, if I'm not mistaken. It's the same thing with Hannah. Hannah was a barren woman, but she still ended up having, I believe, Hezekiah, if I'm not mistaken, right? The same story with Joseph was the same story with Joseph. His father was Jacob. I know you guys remember Jacob and Esau, where I believe who's that? Jacob tricked Esau out of his inheritance or something of that nature, right? Well, long story short, Jacob, there was one woman that Jacob always wanted. And when he left after tricking Esau, he went to go work for this man, right? And the man kept getting over on him, basically, right? Promising him different things. Like the man would say, okay, well, I'll tell you what, you want to marry, basically he told the man that I want to marry, let's say, I forgot the wife that he wanted to marry, but he said he wanted to marry her, right? He was like, well, before I can give her out in marriage, I got to marry off the other daughters. You know what I'm saying? Like, this daughter has to be married off first. So Jacob worked for about 10 years for him and married that daughter. And then he goes back and say, okay, now I want to marry this daughter. And he said, well, I got to send off this daughter before I can let you marry that daughter now. You know what I'm saying? It was always something, right? So essentially what happened was his servitude was up. And he went to the man to get what was promised to him. And the man still wanted to try to trick and connive Jacob. This is Joseph's father, right? And what ended up happening was Jacob. He told Jacob, okay, well, I'll tell you what, all the spotted sheep I'll give you as an inheritance or whatever it was. I want to say it was like severance pay or something like that. I'll give you all the spotted sheep. The man probably, let's say if he had a flock of 1,000, maybe like 70 were like spotted sheep. So Jacob said, okay, he agreed. And when they went to bed, when they woke up the next morning, almost all the sheep were spotted. And then the man went back on his word and said, no, 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 no. I give you all the sheep that are pure white. So they agreed. He said, okay. And then went to bed. Then the next day, all the sheep that God wanted Jacob to have were white. You know what I'm saying? So this man tried this, multiple times or whatever. Anyway, long story short, he ended up marrying this woman, right? But she ended up being barren. She couldn't have children. So, they tried and they tried and they tried. But I'm not sure. I believe he had like concubines or the other sisters or whatever. And they, he had children with the other sisters. Okay. And what ended up happening was Jacob finally got to have 2 children with this woman that he worked years to be with. I mean, he worked really hard to be with this woman, right? And, yes, they finally were together, got married and everything. And they had this love child. They had 2 love childs, Joseph, and I forgot the other son's name, right? But keep in mind, he had children with the other sisters too, or his other, wives too. But the ones that he loved the most was Joseph and the 2 that he had with that woman, right? So he loved Joseph. He treated Joseph way better than all the other kids. You know what I'm saying? He showed, basically, Jacob showed a lot of favor towards Joseph and the others, and the younger sibling up under him, So the wife got sick and she passed. So what ended up happening was one day he bought Joseph a coat. And Joseph, being the love child or the favorite child, it made the other children jealous. So what they did was they pushed them, they tricked them. They took them out and then pushed them in a well. And these are his brothers. They pushed them in a well, and then there was some merchants coming by and they sold him, in servitude, right? So Joseph, he ended up he had to work his way out of servitude, right? And when they went back to the father, Jacob, he told the father that, Joseph was dead. And you could just imagine. Now, imagine if you had a child after trying and trying and trying for years with somebody you just love, right? You finally have that child, you and her or him, that y'all have the child, right? That person passed. So the only thing you had left is that person is that child that you have. And I took that from that right there, that little last part, that comes from T.D. Jakes. I'm gonna give him his props for that. But that was something to think about, because I remember him saying that was the only child left that had his mother's, that reminded him of his mother. So it's kind of like, you had a child and that child looked like the spouse that you lost. Almost the mannerisms, all of that remind you of that spouse that you fell in love with but lost. You know what I mean? So meanwhile, Joseph was in Egypt. And he's working hard, and then all of a sudden they showed favor on him. God's favor was on him because of a promise that was passed down from Abraham to Jacob. See, the thing is, Jacob had a generational curse. The same generational curse that was on Jacob was on his sons. Jacob tried to trick Esau out of his inheritance, and out of jealousy. And those older children did the same thing to Joseph. They were jealous of what Joseph had inherited, which was technically just a coat or whatever, but also Jacob's favor. So what they did was they sold him into slavery or whatever, right? Out of jealousy. So that same generational curse is still going on, right? Went on, right? So after that, Joseph, he was a slave, but then after a while he started working really, really hard. They saw how like God's favor over him caused him to come in contact with the right person, and that person started taking a liking to Joseph because his work ethic and things of that nature. Then essentially he started being, trusted. So he earned himself out of slavery, and he was actually a boss. He had, He was a boss, self-made boss. He came up from slavery to being a boss because his boss liked him and how he ran things, right? Well, the wife wanted to sleep with Joseph. The wife liked Joseph, but Joseph wouldn't betray his boss in that manner. So the wife lied on Joseph and got him locked up. Joseph went to prison, and while he was in there, he was prophesying over people's dreams. He was interpreting people's dreams and stuff like that, and telling them the meaning of that dream. Then after a while, those people, they ended up getting out of jail and out of prison and stuff like that because of the interpretation that Joseph gave them. So the people said, they forgot all about Joseph, right? So next thing you know, the king had a dream, and he needed somebody to interpret it. Nobody could interpret it. So all of a sudden, one of the men that was imprisoned was like the chef or something like that, was a close servant of the king. And he said, wait a minute, I know somebody who can interpret this dream. There's a man in your prison cell right now that can interpret this dream. He has the gift from God. So they go and get Joseph. Joseph interprets the dream accurately. Everything was good, you know what I'm saying? And because of that, that's how he ended up, I believe he ended up running that prison. And then from running the prison, he became he moved up to like another really prestigious position where he was like I ain't gonna say like a pharaoh, but he was like a king or something like that, right? Well, a famine came over the land. That's what it was. There was a dream that the king had, and he wanted to interpret it, and Joseph told him about the famine that was coming. And he told the king that he gave him a solution on how to solve this famine by solve the famine by rationing out the food that they eat. You know what I'm saying? Collect a certain amount of food, eat a certain amount of food, and store another certain amount of food, because all of Egypt was going to be affected by it, right? So when this famine happens, Jacob was affected by it. And he said that he sent his sons with the last little few valuables that he had left to go sell it so that they can, see if they can eat, so they can eat. So they ended up coming across Joseph. They didn't know who Joseph was, though. And so Joseph is asking them all these questions and stuff like that. And Joseph asked them, like, how many of them was it? And they said, well, it's 6 of us, but, one of us had died. And he said, basically, they told Joseph that he died, basically. Or they told their father that he died, And so after interpreting stuff like that, he told them to keep their money. And he sent them, he told them, I believe he brought them back to the palace first. And then they came, I believe they came to him. And what happened was they were going to pay for like food and stuff like that, but he just gave them the food. And he said, what I want you to do is I want you to bring your youngest brother to me. So they went out and they left, and while they were going, Joseph was crying. He was just crying after all the stuff he went through, but he still showed them kindness, right? He was crying because, the people that betrayed him, they pretty much said he was dead and all this. It was wild. He got betrayed by his family. So they go get the youngest brother, and Jacob was like, "No, you can't have my youngest. You already took Joseph. I don't have shit else. I mean, I don't have nobody else, to remind me of this woman that he was in love with." So Jacob came with them, I believe. Yeah. No, Jacob didn't come with them. They went to, I think he healed one of the brothers and told them to go get the younger brother and bring him back. They go get the younger brother and bring him back, and then after a while, I forgot how the whole story go, but he ends up going back to see his father and stuff like that, and they were reunited. So I said all of that to say this, like, a lot of that backstabbing, betrayal energy that was out here, like I was saying, especially with the spiritual warfare, a lot of us have gone through this already, where it's like our own family, our own friends, people we love, people that we respected but didn't respect us, betrayed us, essentially. There's a certain group of people that was betrayed by their own family and sold up the river. You know what I'm saying? They were sold to the enemy. They conspired with the enemy against you, right? But just like the story of Joseph, that's telling you the future. No matter what cell, no matter how they think they got you blocked in, no matter where they put you, the favor of God supersedes all doorways, all locks, all boxes, all constraints. If God put favor over your life, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. There is no blocking God's authority. So if the enemy think that they could do that with spell work or whatever, that's a war between them and God. You are no longer fighting a mortal. You are fighting the Most High God. And the rules of fighting a God are different. Then there's some of us who also was dealing, same thing with the story of Moses. When I said that the spirit of Moses was out here, it's it's a ringleader with a bunch of people, who pretty much had karma. These people that's alliance with this person, they all share the same karma, but only one person is the ringleader, whether they know it or not. From different stuff that they've done throughout their life, they were sent to this person for this person to ensnare them or enslave them and force them to do different spell works and stuff like that against people against their will. These people that this person was doing puppeteering energy over, it was their karma, because that's the same thing that happened with the children of Israel. It was their karma. However, with all slavery things, there's a time for captivity and there's a time for freedom. So some of you guys who are fighting spiritual warfare against a ringleader and all little minions and stuff like that, this is your story, where all these famines start happening in the enemy's lives until they let go of what God said let go of. It's not just you that they have to let go of. It's everybody in this group that has to be released. Somebody did a spell over a lot of people, and I had told you about that dream I had where it was a woman with like 6 or 7 puppets, right? Until that woman set those puppets free, and until she come and ask for forgiveness, him or her, come to you directly and ask for forgiveness for what they've done, God is not going to be happy with them. He's not going to be happy. These storms are going to keep coming in. Just when and it don't matter how much spell work you do or how wise you are, what say, mage, whatever you go to, it doesn't matter. What God put over your life, no man can take off. You can't take off what God puts over your life, is what I'm saying here. Okay? And essentially, with this spiritual warfare, the prophets, the high priestess, the priests, it's your job to free these people. And you're leading them out of captivity by just being you, basically. Just you being you. Standing up to people that you need to stand up to, saying what's on your mind. And basically, basically, it's you showing people the way out through action. But at the end of the day, it's up to them to take that leap of faith. I believe, honestly, the way I feel about it, I don't think everyone that was enslaved in Egypt actually left. Because the thing is, it said that the children of God left. The children of God generally means that those who have faith in God. Sometimes there are people who've been enslaved so long that they lose their faith. Those people who lost their faith probably stayed in Egypt. And then after Pharaoh died and his army was wiped out, guess what? There was another ruler who was going to come in, conquer them, and put them back into slavery. You see what I'm saying? And that person could have been worse than what the Pharaoh was. So, yeah, there was that. And then there's the spirit of Elijah out here. There were people who criticized your faith and what you believed in and said that it doesn't work and that, made a fool or mockery of you. Now, I've went through this personally. This is a part of my spiritual journey where it was like when I first started, I remember the man who was doing the spell work, him and his wife, the man told me, God can't hear me, because I was praying to God. And he was like, God can't hear you. Right? Now, this man is going through a lot of hardship. I had dreams of this man trying to attack me. I had dreams of this man trying to befriend me. Like now he's trying to befriend me. And yes, I will blatantly say it outright that yes, he not wrapped too tight, and he like men. And I know they gonna get tired of me saying that, but he does. He like men. He like men. Okay. So yeah, him and his wife, and but it was the same situation that I just got done talking about with Joseph. Right? So there's no telling how many people that these people had done this to, but at the end of the day, let's see here. So with the spirit of Elijah, God had to, like with Elijah and Elisha, it was like Elijah, he did get afraid through the spiritual warfare. He did get afraid. God had gave him everything and instructions and everything, anointed him, gave him instructions on what to do and stuff like that. But when you're going up against that dark magic and the witch and stuff like that, and you're by yourself, and you're fighting up against a dark witch with with hundreds and people and all kind of connections and stuff like that, it's not easy. It's not easy. But Elijah came through to let you know, don't be afraid. You know what I'm saying? You stood your ground and you stand up to him, because Elijah had got afraid. He got afraid after he proved that God was the living God, and they killed all the prophets and stuff like that of God. Of the false god of Jezebel. That's her name, Jezebel. Matter of fact, this is a part of the story that's happening now. So there's people in Jezebel's camp that are falling, that are dying. They claim this person could have went out and got all kind of witches and mages and hired a whole bunch of people. All of them may not pass, but mostly all of them that rose up against God there will be repercussions. There will be deaths around them. They will die. They will die. And there will be deaths around them. They will die. Because they tried to attack the force of God. There's no repentance for them. There is no repentance for this. Because a lot of them didn't, they knew, they had discernment. And they still did what they did. But that's up to God to judge. Okay? Because this is a two-parter here. Okay? So with Elijah, he was afraid. He went back to the mountain, and then that's when God told him to train somebody. God had him train Elisha. Elisha followed him everywhere he went, And, you know, and essentially what happened was it was Elisha who had to finish the job. Elijah just had all he could take of it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure it had something to do with Jezebel's spell work, right? In the meantime, King Ahab and Jezebel, a couple, right? Like I was telling you. So if you are going to warfare with a couple, if there's a couple attacking you, two people who are, you know what I'm saying? It don't even just have to be a couple. It could be two couples. It could be three couples. But essentially, it's that same concept of a man who may or may not be affluent. One of these people is affluent, and the other one is just a spellcaster, right? Well, the man who had the money, King Ahab, he saw a lot that he wanted, right? And when he saw this lot, he wanted it from the man, and the man said the man wouldn't sell it to him. So he got upset, he got jealous, he got envious of it or whatever. He really wanted it, but he was, you know, he was upset about it because the man didn't want to sell his vineyard. So he goes and he talked to Jezebel about it. Jezebel pays some people off to bear false witness against this innocent man to steal riches and steal from him. Does that sound familiar? False witnesses, paying people to lie, testify against you in court and shit like that, paying people to create evidence against you, tampering and shit like that. That pissed God off. And God told Elijah, he said, well, you go to Ahab and tell him I saw what the fuck he did. I'm pissed off and I'm going to fucking kill him. I'm going to destroy him. I'm going to destroy his fucking family. I'm going to put his eyes out. When they see his body, when he see his children's bodies, his children will die in the field and they will be eaten by dogs. And the same will happen with his wife Jezebel. She'll be thrown down and she'll be disemboweled and consumed. Right? Ahab was scared as shit. So you know what Ahab did? He kept low, he kept to himself and shit like that. And you know, he was real paranoid. That's part of somebody's story right now. Somebody paranoid as shit, not knowing when to move. And you know what happened next? He was going to readers anointed by God to give readings. And God said, look, I need to touch this motherfucker. But so far, I can't get to him because of what's going on. So all of heaven got together and they all had a meeting. And so you know what happened? What ended up happening was there was two separate readers. And this rang true now. You have a reader who speak the truth of God, and you have a reader who speak lies or get certain downloads from God. There's going to be one who get all the downloads and one who gets certain downloads from God. Right? King Ahab, he wanted to territory. And he went to them to talk about it. And all the people of God, they was telling him, it's yours, go for it, take it, it's yours, take it, it's guaranteed victory. King Ahab, he leaves, he leaves the kingdom and he goes out. But guess what? All the ones who got real downloads from God, one of them went to him and told him, don't do it because you'll end up getting killed. And guess what? He hurt that man. He put that man in prison and said when he come back, he gonna kill him. So he goes out. Guess what? That whole army wiped his ass out. I believe they killed him running back to the kingdom. And everything that Elisha said was gonna happen is what happened to his ass. So if they think they gonna run, God has a way of using enemies. Those same people that you hired, giving you readings and shit about people and shit like that. are liabilities. They can become liabilities. There is no running from God. When you fight with God, you fight with something beyond your comprehension. There is no running from him. There is none. There is no mercy either. The same mercy that they showed on you is the same mercy God will show upon them. It's the same one. The same one where they don't want to leave you the fuck alone, where they keep harassing you. They keep doing spell work on you, thinking it's funny in front of their friends and shit like that. Trying to hide behind mental disabilities and shit like that. God got a disability for your ass. He got one for you. Kids, women, children, he does not give a fuck. Elijah had to bring babies back to life because God killed the motherfuckers. So you really think he give a fuck about these motherfuckers? He don't. When he tired of you and he don't give a fuck, that's it. You done. You're fucking done. And I don't expect these motherfuckers to change either. Just because, even if they did hear this reading, these motherfuckers ain't gonna change. Your fate is written. It's written. Now, Jezebel, she was up in the tower. The rest of the army came to the castle, and they yelled, and she's, talking her shit or whatever, running her fucking mouth. And guess what? The king, I believe whoever it was, told them, if you throw this bitch down from that height, from all the way up there, if you throw that bitch down, I will spare your fucking life. What do you think they did? They threw that bitch down from the tires. She got betrayed by her own people. Threw down. Her body splattered into the street. They went to go eat, and guess what? Before the sun was setting, there was crows eating his children, eating his sons out in the field. There were dogs dragging bits and parts and shit like that off of Jezebel. Read the Bible yourself. It'll tell you. And I believe that's in 2 Kings. Read the story for yourself if you don't believe me. So all that bullshit that's been going on is not going to last long. As you see, the story has been progressing. It's been progressing. Whatever your story is, there's a story in the Bible that's going to tell you how it's going to play out. Only thing you need to do is have faith. Yep, that's it. I took 30 minutes, but I figured I'd do a little card reading on top of that. Who else was there in the Bible? I believe there was somebody else. I want to say, Daniel. What they did to Daniel was dark. I heard that he was a sex slave at one point. They done changed his name, tried to get him to disbelieve in God and all that stuff. And they threw him in the lion's den. In the Bible, I don't think it said anything about him. I can't remember who it was. Somebody was telling me that they would dress him up like women and stuff like that. And they changed Daniel's name and stuff like that. But Daniel ended up interpreting the king's dreams on several occasions. And that's how he ended up retiring. Yeah, that's how he ended up retiring. Yeah. So like I said, they gonna pull cards. They gonna do their hydromancy. They gonna do their, umancy, the limpayas and all that other shit and chants and shit like that. It don't fucking matter. You too far in now. Because I guarantee you, if you dealing with somebody who's been doing spiritual spell work and stuff like that, and they are paranoid right now, you already know it's only a few short steps before this shit is over. I'm just letting you know. It don't matter how much they try to hide, how much they try to do this or that. It doesn't fucking matter at this point. Your shit, like yeah. It's done. It's done. As somebody would say, it's done. Like I said, all those that try to conspire and co-spire with him, wiped out with him. I believe Jezebel even tried to hire an assassin or something like that to kill Elijah too. I believe it. I believe that's what happened too. Yeah. That's what he was so afraid of. Yeah. So, you know, and then on top of that, like I was saying, with Ahab, you know, God and the angels, they got together. Like I say, you know, God got connections you wouldn't believe. You know, and contrary to, you know, to belief, honestly, I remember seeing in a video before that God and Satan had a meeting about some stuff that they needed to happen, basically. And somebody in a comment was like, why would God meet with Satan? It's for shit like this. It's for shit like this. Some things God do and some things, you know, Satan do. You know, these people have probably been worshiping Lucifer for a long time or whatever it may be, promising them shit, not being able to deliver certain shit, trying to get new souls to replace the shit, trying to tap into people's energy to replace what was going on. Yeah, Luciferians. Yeah. That's who I was in war with, Luciferians. If you don't believe it, trust me, they out here. These Luciferians are out here. Matter of fact, there's Luciferian there. It's like, it was a mixed group. It was like atheist people, Luciferians, Haitian voodoo. I know Haitian and Brazilian voodoo is pretty much the same. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, you know, it was a lot of brujerias and, you know, whatever brioles and shit like that. Yeah, it was quite a bit. Shamans, yogi teachers and shit. It was all kind of people. All kind of people. I got attacked by all kind of people day and night. And they did nothing but laughed, and I could hear them laughing and, you know, telling me all kind of shit, and you know what I'm saying? And it, you know, when you first go through your warfare, you don't know what to believe, you know what I mean? But not no more. Not no more. God solved that. And so I'm trying to think if there was any other stories, but generally you get the gist, right? And, you know, if anybody ever tell you like, oh, you know, you can't have children and all that other stuff, you don't know. I wasn't even supposed to be here. My dad was considered infertile, but here I am. And then after I was born, my mother almost died. Here I am. Here I am. That right there is one of the marks of God's people. They are born, a lot of them are born by certain, you know, by weird circumstances. Like Moses was an orphan. You know what I'm saying? Moses was an orphan. Jesus and John the Baptist, they're like, one mother was a virgin, the other mother was really old. She was older in years. She was considered infertile. Abraham's wife was infertile. Jacob's wife was infertile. You're only infertile until you meet the right person. When you meet that right person and you're not karmic and stuff like that, that means God has, for at least to me, that's the opportunity for God to have a calling on your womb if you go God's route. So anyway, let's see what we got for the reading here. We got the Hangman in the reverse. Got the Tower in reverse. And we got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Look like somebody escaped the Tower involving finances here. Somebody just moved out of a tower or something like that. Somebody probably, I'm not going to say somebody engineered something against you, or somebody made a decision with their money or something about their money. The vibe I'm getting here is that yeah, so there was some kind of tower or something that was supposed to happen with some money that didn't happen. You got what is this, Pisces energy out here, a karmic Pisces out here. You got a karmic Sagittarius out here, and you got a karmic I want to say Aries out here. Aries, no, is that Aries? Yeah, because the tower is Mars. So you got Jupiter, Mars, and the Hangman. So that's like a Aries, yeah, Aries, Sagittarius, and a Aries, Sagittarius, and a Pisces. Yeah. Wow. Yes, there could have definitely been a tower here. And that's what, Uranus energy. Uranus and Aries, the ninth house. Uranus and Aries, the ninth house. No, Neptune and Aries, the ninth house. Neptune and retrograde, Aries, the ninth house. So yeah, this has to do with some plans about some money that didn't work out right. Somebody was trying to come up with some, like, they have an idea or a belief about how how their money could expand in some kind of way, or trying to expand their money. Somebody had an idea about expanding their money, and it's not turning out right. It didn't, that whatever that plan is not going to work. So somebody could have been trying to scam somebody, or somebody could be in a bind, basically, like their finances could be all tied up, or they could be going through a financial storm or something like that, and they were trying to think of a way to get out of it, possibly, or they're trying to avoid a tower or something like that. Yeah, something about financial ruin or something like that. Somebody could be heading towards that. You got the Seven of Wands out here. Got the Death card out here. Yeah, that's that Scorpio energy I was just thinking about. Got the Five of Cups out here. Yeah, okay. So yeah, somebody is definitely trying to walk away from a situation, or some kind of conflict. Somebody's trying to change or put an ending to some kind of beef, basically. Somebody's thinking about the past, and they're trying to transform, from the past, or they're trying to rewrite the past about some kind of fight or whatever. Yeah, somebody could be defensive about some kind of transformation that is required in order to move forward in life. That's the vibe I'm getting, is like somebody's really defensive about something that's necessary to happen in order to get to the next level. This Seven of Wands here in the Death card and the Five of Cups give me the vibe of, let's see, the seven of Wands here has to do with Sagittarius. You got the Scorpio out here with the Death card, and the Five of Cups is gonna be let me see here. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, yeah, that's what. Let's see. That would be with what, Leo. So that would be what water sign is paired with Leo? Is that, it's Scorpio? Yeah, double Scorpio out here. I got double Scorpio out here. 2, 3, 4, and then it's like 5, 6, 7. Okay, so no, this is a Aries is the vibe I'm getting out here. Aries, Scorpio, and yeah, Aries and Scorpio. So the vibe that I'm getting here is pretty much Aries and Scorpio, the 8th house. So when you have an Aries and Scorpio, the 8th house, that gives me the vibe of you basically this has to do with, like, I guess occult. It's a combination of like occultism and like dealing with like karma and stuff like that, and hidden wisdom and knowledge and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because essentially that's what the occult mean. It's like hidden. It's like hidden knowledge and hidden wisdom and things of that nature. So somebody could be trying to exert their power into something taboo is the vibe that I'm getting here. Somebody could be trying to force something to happen with hidden or forbidden wisdom. Somebody's trying to make use of some kind of hidden or forbidden wisdom. Strong Scorpio energy out here. And it's because this person can't face something and they want a second chance at something, is the vibe that I'm getting here. They're thinking about this union that they had with these people, and they are kind of like turning their back on love for this, like, I guess like a friendship or something like that. Or like maybe like say if you are like, if you had like a lot of women or men, and you're thinking about all the like you're turning your back on love to focus on all the good times that you had with like these women or men that you used to sleep around with, is the vibe that I'm getting here. So yeah, this Scorpio is really defensive about this transformation. Oh shit. Oh yeah. Shit. Damn. Hold on. I'll look at that later. So yeah, there's somebody's really defensive about a change or transformation that's necessary, right? Wow. All right, let's see what is coming for the future. We got the three of swords out here. We got the 5 of swords out here, and we got the King of Pentacles out here. Okay, so there's the energy of somebody healing, especially after some deceitful shit has went down. This could be a King of Pentacles. There's a King of Pentacles out here who went through some bullshit involving like mind games with somebody, and they're healing from it. Somebody could have took a L, or it could have cost somebody a relationship, a marriage, or something like that. And yeah, somebody like this, it looked like somebody got broken up with, and after this breakup, this person has started focusing on their money. So somebody money is getting ready to like expand, because whatever this breakup was, or whatever this whatever this is, it looks like somebody walked away from a toxic person here. That's the vibe that I'm getting here. So this has to do, could involve 2 separate air signs. We got the 3 of Swords is gonna be, let's see, which air sign is the 3 of Swords? The 3 of Swords is gonna be no, not Libra. Who's paired up with Aries? It's not Aquarius, it's not Gemini. Is that Libra? Yeah, that's got to be like Libra energy out here. Because let's see, the cardinal ones is Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. So this right here is like a Libra and an Aquarius. Libra and Aquarius out here. And also the King of Pentacles is gonna be is that a Taurus? No, that's not Taurus, that's Virgo. That's a Virgo energy here. Yeah, it could possibly be a Virgo that is just focusing on their money after a breakup. They started healing themselves and things of that nature. They could have been in a relationship or a third party situation that, you know, that somebody put them in, or that, you know what I'm saying? Because they could have been in it knowingly or unknowingly, you know. So Jesus. But after that shit, they bossed the fuck up. They healed themselves. They started focusing on themselves. Oh man, I would hate to be the person that they was in a relationship with. You know why? Because you know how they say the best revenge is your paper? I think the best revenge is being well off without that motherfucker. It don't even have to be your paper. Sometimes you may not be making all the right moves in terms of your money, but you're making all the necessary moves to not have to beg and borrow from that person, or run back to that person to live or whatever off of them, because sometimes you might find a better partner and then y'all link up and shit like that, and then, you know what I'm saying, or you might find a better group of friends or whatever, and by you being happier and well off, your happiness, your internal happiness, that is the best revenge. People hate to see other people happy without them, especially if it's a female. A female hate to see someone who did them wrong, or somebody that they did wrong, being happy without them, especially if they know that they were wrong. I think that's people in general. If you know you did somebody wrong and you know that they're happier without you in their life, that does something to certain people's souls. You know what I'm saying? It's yeah. So, yep. You got the strength card out here, you got the world card in reverse, and you got the magician out here. I did not do, let's see, what is this? Libra, Aries, what is this? Libra, Aquarius, and Virgo. So that would be what, the 5th house? Yeah, that's the 5th house. That's what is that? Venus and Aquarius, the 5th house. Yeah, somebody's definitely taking care of themselves. They're dying. Wow, this is giving me the vibe of my yeah, wow, I might be reading my own energy here. That's not too bad. What I see here, I don't know if you guys are going through it too, but or this just might be my own energy, but and I like it. I like it a lot, because this gives me the vibe of the energy of Venus and Aquarius, the 5th house. That's the vibe of self-care. That's the vibe of self-care. You catering to yourself, listening to your own body, listen to what your needs and what you need and what you want. This is somebody found permission to be selfish for once. And it's paying off, because a lot of people get that preconception that being selfish is bad. Being selfish is not bad. It's not bad at all. It's all about how you do things. And that's what everything is on a gradient. It's about how you use it. Because selfishness could be, you isolating yourself from everybody and working on yourself, and only coming out to get resources or help from other people to help advance yourself. We see that with therapy. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go to the therapist, it's the same thing, because that growth is one-sided. That person is only there to help you. True, they get paid, but at the end of the day, they signed up for this to, help other people. They're doing a service and you're receiving the service. So it's not bad to be selfish sometimes. So being selfish is good. When you know what I'm saying? It's all about your growth. Now, being selfless isn't evil either. You know what I'm saying? I guess they're both, it all depends on how you use it though, because selfish in like you focusing on yourself in a selfish manner to grow for your own, develop your own self and grow, that's not a bad thing, because you're becoming a better version of yourself. And when you become a better version of yourself, that elevates everybody else around you. You see what I'm saying? Now with the selfless path, when you are out there helping other people, you know what I'm saying, that can become toxic, because you can try to help somebody or serve somebody who don't want who don't want your help. Or you may end up serving somebody who don't need you, or serving somebody who take advantage or take advantage of your help. Thus, when you are selfless or try to come off as selfless and you're just throwing your service and your help at people, that's toxic, because that communicates to other people that you have no boundaries. You see what I'm saying? There is no boundaries. Now, when you do it from an aspect of if they need the help, you help them. You know what I'm saying? Or if they ask you for help, you help them. That's something different. Or even sometimes it's okay to offer it sometimes, true. But in the same breath, recognizing when you're being taken advantage of. If you don't recognize when you're being taken advantage of, or you're offering dead, you're offering things that people aren't asking you for, essentially, guess what? It becomes toxic. So you got the Strength card out here, the World card in reverse, and the Magician out here. Somebody is doing everything they can to try to keep this cycle from moving forward. Somebody is putting all their strength and all of their manifestations into keeping this cycle with you together, or keeping you in a cycle, or keeping you doing something, or stuck, or whatever it may be, And it's stupid, it's stupid. We all know that this is stupid, right? Because nothing is designed to be held up in this manner. You can't go back in time. This person clearly has abandonment issues. They're afraid to be abandoned. But, just because you're afraid of being abandoned, that doesn't mean that other people should have to stop their lives to cater to you. Because that catering is not going to work. That catering thing, that doesn't work. All right, that's all I got for today. I love you all. Keep in mind about the Bible stories. Some of those will resonate with you. It may resonate, it may not. Go to the Bible story that resonates most with your situation, and that'll tell you the future of where this is all going. You see what I'm saying? All right. Oh, that was the download I was going to give you guys today. That's what I was going to say. Matter of fact, you remember I told you about the spiritual warfare or whatever? Yeah. So anyway, you know how I was talking about the two readers? One of those, both readers may be chosen by God. Okay, they both may have a gift, but only one is going to get the full download and the other one is not. Okay. But the vibe that I'm getting is, remember I kept telling you about that reader who was doing spell work to make their readings work, right? Or they were doing predictions over people's lives, and then they were doing spell work to match it, to get it to line up, right? Honestly, I got a vibe that person's been sending people to jail who didn't deserve it. I'm gonna be honest with you. But aside from that speculation, that person is going to be the one who get everybody gummed up and tied up. I got confirmation about that today, because just when I was thinking about that, there was another reader who was talking about that. Yeah, sure was. And the first thing I thought about was that's what happened in the book of in 2 Kings with Elijah. So, all that ambushing you energy, don't worry about it. You're going to see who's trying to ambush you. All right, love y'all all. Take it easy and peace.